today an explanation of building and mastering builds in Fallout 4 using some of the expansion packs. So in Fallout 4 there's lots of different build dynamics and things you can utilize in the games, and today we're going to be covering some of the things in the Wasteland Workshop creation expansion packs. So what we've done here is we've rebuilt Sanctuary using some of the expansion packs. The Wasteland Contraptions Workshop has allowed us to use concrete. So what we did was we did a full rework of Sanctuary on the PlayStation 4 system. No mods. And what we started with, obviously, was the outer perimeter of Sanctuary wanted to be secured, but we also wanted to make sure that we had water purification systems and stuff like that. So obviously the original idea for the wall was installed. So we're going to start covering some of the things as we come across them. So we have kind of a little checkpoint here at the outer perimeter of the wall, and you'll notice there are signs, lights, and power here. We're going to be covering a lot of things as we go through this rebuild of Sanctuary. You'll notice things like laser tripwires, electronic locking doors. These things are only unfortunately available through the expansion packs, but are incredibly useful for defending a territory. So as you can see, we have a lot of turrets up here and things like that, and this is Sanctuary, apparently home to the Johnson Tech and Johnson Power Company. Okay, so we're going to be going around the outer perimeter here. Before we start with some of the larger building sets here that we have, we want to start with the basic ideas of Sanctuary and how we got this place going. So obviously everything seems to be kind of, as you'll notice, built around this large outer perimeter wall, which is much thicker than a basic single structure of concrete. As you can see, they have living quarters and other things like this based off this kind of wall structuring. So as we look around here, we're going to have places like, I think that's a nod to Remember Me, so if anybody played that, no one's been fun. So these outer structure walls, we have a lot of stuff set up here. So in one of the expansion packs, we get, I believe this is actually the Vault-Tec expansion pack, we got access to generators, fusion generators, and these actually produce 100 power per unit. So let's pull that up real quick. And as you'll see here in power now, there's some new generator units here at the end past the wind turbine. You start seeing things like a fission generator, 100% power down there, you see. And you'll also see things, I guess we can't build this right now because we don't have enough stuff, is the large generators and stuff, which are also available for the Vault-Tec expansion pack. This one, I guess, is 150 power. I think this one's 500, so pretty big there. So it looks like a lot of these outer doors are also secured with electronic locks and all this stuff. Well, the only reason this is important is if we do actually have a central command post where all the doors in the game and all the units that are controlled by electronic locks can be shut down and deactivated, including guns that are plugged into the laser turret system. So we're going to go down below here in a minute and cover the water filtration system, because that was pretty much the key to building this large city right here. Building water filtration systems in the basic game requires you to go to Sanctuary and build basically a line of generators along the river to Sanctuary. So we're coming out here on the outer deck overlooking the entrance. And so right here we're actually going to look down where you would have these first generators set up. Right here along the edges of Sanctuary, right where the entrance is, you'll usually have a line of generators stretching down here, and then as many of these water purification systems as you can plug in, put in. So the reason we do this is because every day, based on how many water you're pumping out and stuff, there'll be bottled water which will get dropped off in your workshop, as you may or may not know. And we use this to trade with people like Carla and other people like at the Drumlin Diner, places like Bunker Hill and Diamond City, to get the supplies we need in order to make a city this large. Oh, almost locked myself out. Boy, that would have been fun. Okay, so you probably noticed that robot walking by there. Okay, that's Ada. She's part of the Automatron expansion pack. So that would be another add-on where there's robot creation and stuff like that, which we'll cover here in a little bit. So down here at the base of the water, you'll notice there's going to be lots of areas like this where we're running fission generator systems hooked up to a large power grid. And we have lots of water purification. We did a nice little security set here, building the concrete and stuff to prevent things from coming in and out and allowing the water to flow through, so that kind of worked out well. Even the outer walls has like little sections of apartments. This is actually a small little one I built for myself just for fun, right underneath the main bridge. And I stockpile a few little goodies here and stuff like that, just in case I wanted to. I have no idea why I did it. For fun, I guess. So if you notice, the lights will turn off as the power is shut off on the switch here. It actually deactivates some of these upper nodes along here, shutting off the power in only part of the section, and as you'll notice, some of the lower sections are still lit up with power. So it was a little bit tricky getting those wired on different nodes, because that literally requires you to drop them at different times, because they'll connect to the first thing you drop. So for example, if I put this node here and this one was powered by this one, then this node will, can be turned on and off on the switch. But for example, if I went further down and connected it all the way down here and stuff, all the corresponding lights would be connected still to this original node if they were within range of it. So just a little tricky build stuff there. So okay, so we're gonna go back up. We've covered part of the outer wall here, and I want to cover some of the other parts of this expansion pack building. So right here we have this is called the traffic stop, which is basically a large shopping area for all kinds of stuff. You'll see a lot of people kind of moving around there. So once you get local leader, the local leader perk, which is available in the main game, you'll start being able to build stores. And you'll see them located down here, different stores like this that will actually obviously sell armor and different things like that inside your settlements, which is kind of important. So what we did was we built a functional bar down here. You'll see a few people down here, Valentine, Strong, a few others.
I'd love to.
Some institute scientists and all that, and you'll notice everybody in the back over there is gathered around that soda fountain. That's actually from the Vault-Tec expansion pack that creates happiness, and it's really popular in the evening. So, in preparing for survival mode, we needed to make sure that we had an adequate amount of fountains and water. For those of you that are playing survival mode, you realize the rigors involved in dealing with survival mode, having to eat, sleep, and all things like that. So another thing we covered in the expansion pack was furniture. And here's a clinic that works. So the beds in the clinic, as you'll notice through most of these areas, are part of the expansion pack beds. But these are the best beds available. In survival mode, these should allow you to sleep for about 12 hours and stuff, and so these are the most comfortable beds, and they don't, infect you with things like mites or diseases and stuff like that. For those of you that have slept in sleeping bags in survival mode, you know how hard that can be. So you'll notice a lot of different things kind of added in from different expansion packs here. Now, there are, again, I want to remind everyone, there's no mods used right now in this. This is all done just using the expansion packs and a whole lot of water. So, listen, let's see here. These shops are actually open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. For those of you that haven't created shops yet, they operate on, as they did in Skyrim and other Bethesda games, on an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. setting. So these people will be back here in the morning with their shops open and things like that. Weight benches and this pommel horse and stuff is good for exercises of people, raises happiness in your within your settlements. Also, use of cows, dogs, and things like that will also raise your settlement's happiness level.
So where are we off to next?
So now that we've covered some of the traffic stop, which is basically our little functional, mini mall, I guess we'll say, we're going to move on down the street. So we're going to cover, apparently, the Johnson Power Company Vault 101, makers of Vault-Tec, Robco, and General Atomics. I guess we're going to cover that in a little bit. Let's move on down the road. We have some real simple builds here. This is pretty much just a cover-up for having an excuse to have lots of beds in your city. Just a little, throw together motels that were walled off and stuff with some of the old ruined buildings. So I guess it's just a quick way to throw beds down in case, you have a lot of people in your settlement. Right now, I think this settlement for me has, let's check, 38 people in it right now. So,
I'll follow, sir.
As you'll notice, this vault, now this, I gotta say, this was one of the hardest builds in the game getting done, was building this building here to go even with the wall, build with an expansion that would go across the other side here. But everything is actually not built off of this building here. It's actually built off an elevator. Yes, there's an elevator inside that building, and everything is actually built off the elevator. The elevator is part of one of the expansion packs, and because of how the elevator is built, it doesn't line up directly, evenly with everything. So building this building and getting this connected was actually like a logistical nightmare, I gotta tell you. So, let's go around here some of the outer walls. So some of the outer walls, as I said, are more than just simply walls. We actually have a guard check post here right now.
Yeah.
This actually overlooks the rear exit. I'll turn off the light here. This pit down here you actually see, which the guy is actually above, is actually one of the security back rear entrances to the city in case anybody wanted to come in through the front. There's only 2 entrances in the city, so. We built some large sprawling buildings for housing people, but didn't end up needing to utilize nearly as much room as was created. So, and this is down below that security checkpoint. You'll see there. So see there, This would be the guy up there. And this is a thick, you know, triple walled, as you can see, kind of security post. And outside along the outer perimeter of Sanctuary, we did a lot of these fun little spike traps. Ouch. So we've only had one security breach ever, and that was at the beginning of building the city before the wall was complete. And since the wall has been complete, we have not had any security breaches. So this is pretty much a large empty security building. As you can see, there's the hallway that leads across to the other building, which we'll cover later. Oh, and it looks honestly like there needs to be some lighting put up in here. So it looks like, not completely done. Something to cover a little bit later. We're not going to do that now. And these are artillery turrets that you get from the Minutemen. Obviously, once you complete the getting the castle and get Ronnie Shaw there, she'll give you access to these artillery turrets. We love these because these will allow us to hit targets with our artillery grenades, which you can pick up here at the Sanctuary Workshop. So we can send artillery shells all around the surrounding areas, and the more workshops you add these things to, the larger your coverage area will be. So we like artillery, you know, put at every single base if possible. Okay, so we're going to move on. You know, I'm just going to jump down. I know it's kind of stupid, but as you can see, there's a whole lot of missile turrets there. We did actually have a vertibird try and fly over once. It didn't make it past this line, as you can probably imagine. Okay, so we're going to move further down, and as you can see, the outer wall extends all the way back here and stuff. And if I do say so, I kind of feel like I want to raise that wall up later, but that's not really for now, huh? Okay, so we're going to move over here to the back, and there's places like the Sable Cove medical detention facility. I guess, you know, let's cover this real quick. So we decided this is the robot workbench, which is part of the Automatron expansion pack. This will allow you to make and modify robots, which is how we got Jezebel and Ada and these other units walking around. Good thing about robots is they don't have a happiness level, so their base happiness level is 50, and they don't need to eat, but they can continue farming and guarding other places. So we do like some of the Automatrons. Be warned, if you're playing in survival mode, though, it will your Automatrons, the robots you build, can be destroyed permanently and die. So when settlers are attacked, even in survival mode, they are not instantly killed. They're dropped to the ground, just like they do in regular mode. But Automatrons will be destroyed instantly, which means you'll have to rebuild another robot if they actually get killed. So you saw there's kind of the police station, and we have kind of a holding cell area up here. And there is obviously our back security cell here. And it was kind of decided it would be expanded into something more. So, yep. I'm going to drop down hatch here. And this is... I don't really feel like this area needs a whole lot of explanation, so I'll just kind of leave it. Yeah, so there's a medical detention facility, and it looks like, you know, there's a disposal area, I guess, and this leads all the way over the wall to, I'm guessing, dispose of stuff. So we're going to go further on, now that we've covered kind of the medical detention facility. We're going to use the, getting back up that way. We're going to move down the street. So along these outer walls, we did utilize these, as you saw through most of it, and turn them into places that were apartments and living quarters for most of our people. Also turns them into guard stations. So here we're going to see kind of a classic outer wall guard station with the electronic security locks. And we will cover getting to the main central command post in a minute. So here we have one of our outer wall guards here, and he just kind of lives and keeps an eye out on some of the weaker points in our defense. Even though there is no entrance over here, we still want to know if anybody's actually coming, or if enemies are stuck along the outer perimeter of the wall. It's helpful to have our guards stationed in the areas to see them. Not sure how that got there, but we're going to scrap that. Alright, so we're going to move down the ways, and let's start covering some of how we keep this place powered and funded. So, there was a large building over there, but was recently torn down for renovations. I'm not sure what the plan is to do with that lot, but I'm pretty sure something's going to be used there. And this is a vault door from the Vault Take expansion pack, if you haven't guessed already. That big security door there. And this, for those of you who have gotten far enough in the storyline, may recognize this contraption here. And I did beat the storyline, and we are done. And if you're wondering how it's possible that we have one sitting in front of us, there is only one way to do this, gentlemen. So if you're trying to do that, what you need to do is make sure that you build at least 2 different sets or versions of the units you see in front of you. So one, you'll have to build 2 of this, so that the first one can be used for storyline. 2 of those, and 2 of these right over here. And this will allow you to use the first one for storyline mode, and then one for yourself privately. But you'll only get one chance to do that at the right time of the story. So just remember that you want to use that in survival mode. Again, a lot of this whole city was built around the idea of needing this for survival mode, so there was food and water and supplies. So we're almost done looping around the outer wall of Sanctuary here, and we'll get to, these are more apartments. I guess this is A7, and this is another one of those classic kind of security post houses. And again, we're using a lot of the expansion packs here, and we're going to cover, this is one of the main generation units we use, is we have a power generator unit over here that we used from the Vault-Tec expansion pack, and this is one of those super reactors. And we were able to use the build set to put a super reactor inside a building. So it didn't, I want to say it didn't end up quite as clean as I think was intended originally, and just kind of settled on this kind of a build for it. But the point still remains, we did get the 500 power out of it, which we did utilize for powering the water purification system you see stretching out along the waters of the river here. And we did fill, I want to say, every available and conceivable spot without losing any part of our security. We filled as many of them up as we could to pump water out. And I don't know what the water percentage is. I want to say, let's check here. We're producing 905 water a day. So that's a good amount of bottled water, more than I would be able to carry. So, and this is a small unit here, and this is literally a generator substation, which is a secure post, obviously, with security doors. I don't know why that was open. But it all locks down and stuff from a centralized unit, so this whole city can be locked down, as I've said, from the central command post. Let's, I guess, get to the main vault area. Security was a concern. We did build electronic sliding lock doors and all that stuff down there in case somebody dropped below the bridge. The whole city was made to be completely sealed and secured. So the last part we want to cover of Sanctuary is the self-made vault itself, which utilized a little bit of all of the different expansion packs. We got stuff, I think, from Nuka World in there, Far Harbor, the contraption set, the automatrons, workshop, wasteland workshop, so a little bit of everything. So the lower half of the vault is just kind of, I think, set up, this is as an entryway here, utilizing some of the pictures and paintings. I believe this is from, yes, this is definitely from the Nuka World expansion pack, kind of a little, I don't know if that's a nod to Scarface or not, but, you know. We're going to move around here. These are actually one of my favorites. I'm not sure if this is urine or what the glowing stuff is, but this is actually from Far Harbor, and if you work with the Children of Adam, they'll give you these really cool little lamps you can make from, I think it's just steel and glass, so I'm assuming that's urine that's radiated. But anyway, you can hang these things up all over, and they produce light without requiring oil or anything like that. Kind of a little different decorational set, but I really kind of like the glow, and it only requires steel and glass for lighting, so that was really neat early on to utilize some of that stuff. So it's just kind of a waiting room, bathroom, kind of broken up with the steel walls, I guess, inside.
So much
fake bushes from the Nuka-Cola world. I liked those and how they looked. And there should be a robot guard here, but apparently there isn't. And we're going to go up the elevator. So for those of you that don't have the elevator, I believe this is the Wasteland Contraptions Workshop. We'll double check. Okay, so let's go up to level 2. So on level 2, we have our security door, which does go across that long walkway and leads to the emergency exit, in case, I ever just wanted to bail. I don't see why that would ever be do, but that's not really planned for anything, right? So back here, we're going to cover, let's go here first. This was a reactor core that was actually built inside a panic room I had installed. So this actually powers, yes, it's one of those big nuclear ones too, powers my entire tower and part of the power grid just from the secure part of my building. This computer here is one of those main central command post computers. There's two of them. One's located here in my panic room, and the other is at the top of the tower. I'm going to log in real quick. And as you'll see here, we have control for all kinds of different things. Or actually, it doesn't look like it's registering. That should be pulling up a whole bunch of information, but it's not. So we're going to move on and assume that that's a glitch for now. It should actually let me control the turrets, cameras, and laser grids, but I'm guessing I'm glitching right now. It's okay. So back here we just have a kind of an open air room. Apparently, you're a smoker and wanted to smoke, I guess, in security. All right, and let's go down here. We're going to cover the power armor. So here we have the working workshop for power armor here at Sanctuary, and I guess we'll cover some of the basic models. I think over here we have a T60. I believe this is Brotherhood of Steel. Yep. This is a Tesla T60, which is actually enhanced energy damage, which is part of the Automatron expansion pack, I believe. This is Power Horse, or I'm sorry, this is Giddy Up Buttercup Power Armor, which is part of one of the Creation Club's releases. So keep an eye out, those of you that haven't been doing it, on the Creation Club. Sometimes they drop cool stuff. This was actually a free giveaway. On the T45, I love the T45 set because it's cheap and easy to work on early in the game. One of my favorites, that's why I haven't done a whole lot with it. Really actually like the classic T45 with no upgrades, just easy repairs with steel. It's great stuff. T51 from the original Fallout version. And this has some positive nucleic power armor from Chest Point, and that's a special release from one of the side quests from Cambridge. And it increases its power as it takes more radiation, so kind of an odd build there. This is a T60 Atomic Cats paint job, which is available from the Atomic Cats. Those of you who don't know them, they're the friendly power armor group that is always taking new recruits down here. The Atomic Cats garage right there near Forward Homestead. Okay, my favorite and probably one of my more expensive is a fully upgraded XO1 suit with a jetpack with chrome plating for energy resistance. This thing is so expensive to work on, I rarely pull it out unless I really have to kill something. So, over here we have some of our designer sets. Available through the Nuka-Cola expansion pack was the Nuka-Cola version of the T51F power armor. So this was kind of a fun little find at Nuka-Cola World. Now let's get over here. This is actually the Vim power armor. If you have the Far Harbor expansion pack, this is available at the Vim soda plant, and it is one of my favorites only because of kind of the airbrushed paint job and stuff and the look on it. I really kind of like how it looks. Over here is the most expensive and hardest to attain of all the power armors, which is the XO1 Quantum. Available through the Nuka-Cola expansion pack and by doing the Cappy quest, which is just ridiculous. And if you know who Sierra Petrova is from Fallout 3, you'll remember that she can be a headache when she sends you on long quests. This is another one of those. Alright. Let's, I tend to skip level 3 usually, but let's cover level 3, shall we? Level 3. So, as people may know, sometimes there's a reason you need to test a weapon or something like that. It came to the attention of me and others that perhaps a room should be created to handle such events. And thus level 3 was created. A rather bloody and macabre area for hunting people, which we will cover in a minute. From the, I think this is the Nuka-Cola World expansion pack from the Raiders and stuff. You can actually, yes, get a feral ghoul and tie it to a chair. There's some little more darker imagery, I want to say, in here. It's kind of a little different than the rest of the base. And for those of you that have the trap stuff, you'll actually notice these, you may recognize these traps we have here. These actually do have a Raider inside and a gunner. When I deactivate the power switch, which is all the way back there on the side of that building, it'll let them both out and they will be released unaware and disoriented into this nightmarish world. should not attack at first. They generally become, as you can imagine, a little surprised and perturbed. And so then we have kind of an odd standoff. Anyway, as much as I would like to release the gunner and the bandit, I really don't want to deal with killing them right now, so we're going to leave them inside their cages.
I'm certain we'll find it soon.
Oh, or not. Or not. Hello. That was an accident. Well, I guess we will let them out. So, what's up?
Oh shit!
Well, I don't think you would have realized I was a bad guy at first, but
Find anything useful.
with that. So, if I want to use my trap again, I'm going to have to repower up these units, and then I have to repair them. So, unfortunately, that's another problem we have with doing the whole trap thing. Is that when you go back, I need some jet and copper. It looks like I don't have jet on me. Right? And I'm not sure what this one will take, but oh, well, that was unexpectedly fast. Okay, so let's see if I can repair this one at least. Yes, I can. All right, cool. So that'll capture another gunner here soon, and I'm going to go get some jet upstairs in the penthouse. So obviously on the last room of Sanctuary, as you can probably imagine, the top is the penthouse. The private area. I love this radiation arch. I don't know what expansion pack this came from, but this decontamination arch removes all radiation from your guy when you step through it. This is a must-have for your bases. Honestly, I need to put one up near the front gate too. Dog meat. Just chilling out. My kitchen. Cooking utensils. Bathroom. And I believe we have, yeah, this is the kind of the trophy room. With some of the armor and stuff you'll see in the game. This diving suit allows you to breathe underwater if you don't have the Aqua Boy perk that's available in the Far Harbor expansion pack. This is also Far Harbor expansion pack, Captain Suit. This is a spacesuit from Nuka World. These are from Children of the Atom in Far Harbor. This is also Far Harbor, Far Harbor. These are Brotherhood of Steel remnants. And then we get to the Railroad, Tinker Tom, Desdemona, Glory, Elder and Maxon from Brotherhood of Steel, Kellogg, Rex Tillerson, the Silver Shroud, and this is a combination of armors from the rest of the game, which is actually heavy robot armor from the Automatron expansion pack, and I believe a recon helmet from Far Harbor. Over here we have McCready's outfit, and we also have our favorite mayor from Good Neighbor. I can't think of his name. I want to reassure everyone I didn't kill either of them. Hancock. Hancock and McCready are both well and alive and downstairs. I just took their clothes. This is the Cabot suit from Cabot House. If any of you remember those people on the wall back there, you know what I'm talking about. And I guess we have a Courser suit. Love the Courser suit. One of my favorite things to wear is a Courser suit. And yes, Mechanist armor, available through the Automatron expansion pack. A wonderful set of armor if you look right here. It gives you 100 energy and defense resistance right off the top of the bat. Reduces damage from robots 15%, and you get a +1 to charisma and intelligence. It's a wonderful suit to have early. So, here is Father's suit and the Marine Recon suit, which is basically a tier down for power armor, available through a special quest in Far Harbor. And here is the Central Command computer right here, which I promised earlier, controls all the doors and the electronic locks. A collection of comic books that have been collected throughout the game. All the basic ones, you'll notice some on here that say, let's see here, where do we have some of the odder ones? I believe there's Raider magazine, and then there's also the Far Harbor. Some of the Far Harbor magazines are in here, so I've been just kind of sticking them up on these rotating things so I could save room. Collection of bobbleheads, a few fancy little weapons and things like that. And I guess with that, that basically concludes the tour of my Sanctuary base. I will be sure to make more videos kind of covering how we do this and how it can be built. But remember, this was all done without mods, and this is all done just using the expansion pack build set and a whole lot of water. So, you know, Sanctuary has been turned into this massive base. We do actually have other bases around the Commonwealth, lots of other places, Ten Pines, other things like that have been turned into major cities. But we can cover that next time, because I feel like we've run our time out long enough. So, thank you for watching.